You're listening to a Roddenberry podcast.
Oh, we're at it again in the midweek. It's more of Mission Log Engage, where you write to us and we answer your comments and questions. Norman, we got a fun one today.
Oh, I love fun ones.
I do too. we gave ourselves some easy ones last week, and this time, by the way, for those of you who don't follow us either on the live show, and you should, or haven't joined us on Patreon and are in our Discord, and you should, we're very big in the Paul demographic. We have our Paul Fecta, the three Pauls who join us frequently. This is a fourth Paul who wrote this one. Yeah. So we're adding yet another Paul to we're huge in the Paul demographic. I'm very
four of a kind.
You'll love it.
Love that.
Love it.
Yep.
So Paul, I love that he kind of turned the lightning round around on us. So you get to share these, and we'll answer. We'll have some fun with these. And by the way, this is not everything that Paul sent in. We're going to save some, and we'll scatter them into other Engage episodes.
All right. So let's see. Lightning round. Favorite Starfleet and non-Starfleet ship, and why?
Okay. Starfleet, that's dead easy. That is the refit Enterprise from Star Trek the Motion Picture. It is just from a filmmaking perspective, it is just a beautiful model. From an in-universe perspective, it feels real. And every inch of it is designed perfectly. And from the inside to the outside, it just feels like everything is very cohesive. Everything fits, and it feels like a real place. And I'm just kind of a sucker for that kind of design, so that it speaks to me. I'm going to think about non-Starfleet. So you go ahead with your favorite Starfleet and why.
Oh, this is it's a tough question. It really is, but
it is, because there's so many good ones. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So I'll put that as a given. I think that for a section of fans out there that just might be a given. So I'm going to try and dig deep. And okay, so my favorite Starfleet ship that has never been seen before on TV. So does it count as a Starfleet ship? It's never been. Well, it hasn't had any screen time, but it's Doug Drexler's NX-01 refit.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, I think that's great. It's a Starfleet ship. It just hasn't been on the screen.
And I love the NX-01 era, but I love that his design like logically bridges the era of, like, say, the John Eves NX-01, the Doug Drexler NX-01 to the Matt Jeffries NX-1701. So there's this wonderful through line that you get to see with the secondary hull, the warp nacelles, now putting in a secondary deflector array instead of the primary deflector array, which is usually on the front. The Aztecing or ablative armor, or the polarized armor, is still there. There is an SS Enterprise instead of USS Enterprise. So there are just small details that allow you to see the evolution of that ship from the NX program to the Kirk era, the Pike era.
Yeah. Man, non-Starfleet is tough, because I think there's something that I really like about the oddball little ships, like Spock's shuttle from the motion picture. I thought it was just so cool, and it was just an interesting design to have it break away from the warp nacelles and then do that cool flip to park itself. Like, that was awesome. I also have a soft spot in my heart for kind of older clunky ships. So like the Botany Bay that we see in Space Seed, I think is so cool. It looks like a submarine, but but blown up and made into a spaceship. I'm going to pick a really oddball choice here, because it's something that came to mind that is not comfortable at all, but the Phoenix.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Because there's something, again, that is so real world about that. It is symbolic of, literally, beating swords into plowshares, taking a vehicle of destruction into something for exploration.
Right.
And just in the context of the movie, it feels very real. It's got all those, NASA-style toggles and switches, and it's just a momentous feeling when you watch them in that moment taking off from that missile silo. So there you go. What about you?
I think I'm gonna have to go with Klingon Bird of Prey.
Oh, okay. See, all right, that's it. I was torn, and if I had to go with a Klingon ship, I actually like the old school D7
Well, sure,
better
sure.
than the Bird of Prey. What is it about the Bird of Prey? Just because we get so much screen time and kind of like familiarity with it?
Well, I like it because it has that one. Well, at least in Search for Spock, before they refit the bridge, I love the way that Krug's bridge had him like on a pedestal.
Yeah, right,
So,
right.
he was looking down like at his gunners, like and his navigation. I love the lighting elements in the Klingon bird, but just like that really nice amber, warm but aggressive kind of hue.
Yeah,
It just and I know that it was supposed to be Romulan, but they kind of screwed up, the
yeah,
logistics of that.
yeah.
I love the forward photon torpedo port. It
Hmm.
it just has it's very sleek. It feels menacing and coming off of the Reliant from Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, the Reliant had a very kind of predatory silhouette to it.
Yeah,
It had the sweeping down the cells. The Bird of Prey in attack mode has the same type of silhouette sweeping down the cells.
yeah,
So it felt like a worthy successor and predator to
yeah.
as an antagonist for the Enterprise.
I like that. Okay, what's up next here from Paul?
Favorite movie and least favorite, I would assume Star Trek movie because
Yeah,
that's a pretty open question.
right. Yeah, yeah. I got a lot of
So
movies in my mind.
yeah,
Yeah.
so we'll say Star Trek movie and least favorite, if you dare.
Oh, I dare. I dare. And
Dare,
that's going to be
dare.
easy for me because, favorite is maybe a little harder to pick because those movies may fill different needs. First Contact is a great action haunted house movie. Star Trek 2 is just sort of perfect in its execution. But I feel like if I were to go home right now and pick a movie off of my shelf and watch it, I want to watch the motion picture again because every time I watch it, I feel like I get something new out of it. Also, I'm just a bit of an iconoclast, and I always want to fight back against the conventional wisdom on that. Oh, it's terrible, it's boring. It's so like,
The
no,
motionless picture.
yeah, no, no, no. There's a heart there. There's something really great there. And again, just
Right.
going back to my answer, the last question, there's a style about that that I just want to spend some time in.
Mhm.
And least favorite is easy, Star Trek Into Darkness. Go ahead.
Mm. Well, my favorite Star Trek movie of all time is my favorite movie of all time. It's Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan.
There you
Just
go.
it's nigh unbeatable, just in my pantheon. And I think I think I actually have it ranked there pretty unfairly because there
Mhm.
have been so many different movies that I've fallen in love with since then. But it doesn't matter. That will always be the king. Least favorite movie probably is Nemesis because I don't know it that well. I just it's
Mm,
my least favorite
mhm.
because I'm not attached to it. Either no, actually, no, that's not true. I would say it's either Nemesis or Insurrection. Those are two next generation movies that I just don't know well. So I've only seen them once in the theater, and if they made an impression on me, it wasn't a good one at the time.
Mhm.
So that's I there are elements of Into Darkness that I like quite a bit,
Okay.
but there is an obvious
Yeah.
element of Into Darkness that I don't like at all. And the only thing is that if they just changed like one small thing about John Harrison's character,
Yeah.
then I would have been like, yeah, okay, you people are starting to do your homework on things. But they had to go to that route. They had to
I
go that
can't
route.
wait until you and I get to review that on Mission Log, and I think we're both going to have our writer hats on,
Oh, we should.
literally and figuratively during
Yeah.
that podcast.
Yeah. But there was a lot of cool stuff that was going on in
There
there. And
was.
I can't disavow like all of that stuff. But at the same time, though, it did make an impression on me for better or for worse. So I have to caveat the whole least favorite by I just don't remember him or don't care.
Sure. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. And then our final.
Ooh. Favorite episode and least favorite
Oof.
episode.
See, I have to go back to my last preamble, which was to say that they fill different needs.
Mhm.
So a favorite is a favorite for one reason, another favorite is a favorite for a different reason. I will say that very recently, the further away we get from TOS, I have more nostalgia for TOS, and it's like a pleasant surprise to go back and revisit it. And I did watch City on the Edge of Forever about a month or two ago, and I just love that episode so much because it works, like it just works as a production. It works for the character driven plot line. it works as Star Trek. I think, although we made a certain argument against it in Mission Log about that, which people can go back and find. Um, there's just a lot that I love about it. And I love the idea that that is also an interesting entry point for Star Trek for a lot of people. But that said, I mean, look, shout out to the Corbomite maneuver, which is kind of the gold standard of what Star Trek is about. Devil in the Dark, which same. Um, Who Mourns for Adonais, I think, is very important. I would also bookend that with certain episodes like TNG, Who Watches the Watchers, and then get into TAS, Magics of Magus 2, and How Sharper Than a Serpent's Tooth. I mean, but then you get to DS9, and I still think like Duet is one of my favorite episodes of any Star
Far
Trek.
Beyond the Stars.
Yeah, Far Beyond the Stars. Brilliant. Yeah. So that is such a hard question to answer. Least favorite is also hard to answer, but the more recent least favorite episode is Prophet and Lace.
I was going to choose that one
It's
too.
just a damn disaster. I mean,
It
it's
is.
just terrible. But look, there are many bad episodes of many series. I would honestly just have to like jog my memory, go down a list, and go like, oh yeah, that one's terrible. That one's terrible too, and so's that one. You know.
Yeah.
So what about you? Did I
I mean,
steal your answer? Yeah.
well, Prophet and Lace, that's pretty high. Like that's so easy to choose. It's like, you know
Yeah.
what? Not only was it bad, it was insulting. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, and it's
I mean,
recent for us.
it was
We just did it in the last several months, so that's
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I've watched bad episodes, but I've watched episodes where I'm like, you know what? I'm an intelligent person, and this just speaks to me in no possible way.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so I'll go with Measure of a Man as one of my favorite
Oh,
episodes of
yeah.
of Star Trek. I think the Picard speech at the end is just it's phenomenal at every level, and it helps us explore the aspect of what is sentient and what is life, and that reaches so far into where we are in Star Trek now.
Mm,
Right, dealing with Vic as a sentient being, dealing with the EMH as a sentient being, even being holograms, like, and then going all the way into Picard. Obviously, this is kind of like taken ad nauseum into that series.
yeah, yeah.
But I'll always default to my favorite episode in TOS. If I had to, play the desert island game, and that will be Balance of Terror.
Okay.
Balance of Terror
All
is
right.
just so good. And I love
Nice.
it because Kirk said to Styles, leave, there's no room for bigotry on my bridge. Take it out,
Yeah,
leave it in your quarters.
yeah,
That spoke a lot to me. That's saying like that captain, my hero, who's an Anglo, when I'm watching him, he's saying like, there's no room for that kind of prejudice
yeah,
in the future.
yeah.
Right. So that's what that meant to me in that
Indeed.
episode.
Also, hey, Paul, these are fun. Thank you for sending that list. And like I said, we'll get to others on different episodes. In the meantime, folks, follow us on the Mission Log Engage playlist at youtube.com/RoddenberryProd. Send your comments to missionlog@roddenberry.com. Find us on Facebook and Twitter at MissionLogPod. And remember, we may engage with your comments on the air.